Welcome. Today we are going to consider the idea of contentment over desire. So before we get started, go ahead and find a nice easy seat, whatever that looks like for you. So you might take a block or a pillow or a blanket and just place it under your seat to get those hips elevated, allowing yourself to come into some more comfort. Considering this idea of contentment as you start to come into this space. J.K. Rowling writes about the mirror of Erised in Harry Potter, and it is said that the happiest man in the world would look into the mirror and see only himself. Anyone else that looks into this mirror will see their deepest desire. So I ask you, what is it that you see when you look into that mirror of Erised? What is that deepest desire of yours? Knowing that we may never achieve total contentment, starting to think about what that feels like. How can we start to work towards looking in that mirror and just seeing our reflection back as a normal mirror? So with this idea, your eyes may close, beginning to tune into the breath. Just allowing yourself to practice contentment in this moment here. Feeling utterly satisfied with where you are right now. Noticing your inhales and exhales. And using the breath to keep the mind centered on contentment. And starting to deepen the breath. Inhaling deeply into the belly, expanding the rib cage and chest. And exhale, feeling the release, softening of the belly muscles. Taking a few more breaths. Understanding that even with life's greatest achievements, reaching those biggest goals, only once we learn to become content do we achieve utmost happiness. And our yoga practices are here to help us sit in contentment. And taking a moment to recognize and honor the roots of yoga, the many lineages of this practice that have been protected for thousands of years so that we may benefit from them today. And then bringing your hands to touch at heart center, or simply placing your hands one on top of each other over the chest, preparing for the sound of Om. Om. Releasing those hands back to the lap. You may flutter the eyes open, or you might keep them closed as we begin to move the body. We'll just drop one ear over to the right shoulder. Breathing into the stretch, feeling the opening of that opposite shoulder. And inhale through center, exhale opposite direction. And inhale, lifting, exhale, other side. This time, option to bring that opposite arm down towards the mat, touching fingertips to the ground. We're just reaching, increasing that sensation of the stretch through the neck. And then take your eyes, gaze down towards the right, shifting the stretch. And then shift those eyes up towards the sky and back to center. Inhale, lift. Other side. Dropping the ear over to the left. Fingertips reach out. And drop that gaze, looking down towards the mat. And lift it up towards the sky. Back to center. And nice tall spine. From here, let's sweep those arms up overhead. Nice big inhale. Interlace the fingers. We're going to bring them behind the neck, gently pressing the chin towards the chest. Keeping a nice tall spine here so we're not curving forward. Keeping the stretch through the upper back and neck. Just creating some light pressure on the head. And gently release those hands, sitting up tall once more, noticing any release or relaxation you're beginning to feel in your upper body. With the hands on the thighs or the knees, we'll begin to take circles with the chest. So reaching forward, sideways, back, and side. Moving at your pace here. Warming up the spine in all directions. This is almost a moving cat-cow. And keep that breath work going. Nice deep inhales and exhales. You may even start to match up the breath with the movement. So we'll reverse the circle. Inhale as you come forward. Exhale as you shift back. You might be moving a little faster than me. You might be moving more slowly. Whatever works for you in today's practice. Might make those circles smaller or bigger. It's all just about playing and taking the movement that feels right for you. And coming back to center when you're ready. Finding a moment of stillness. All right, with the breath, on your next inhale, sweep those arms out wide and overhead, extending up towards the sky. Exhale, flip those palms, press it down. Inhale, reaching high, perhaps gazing up, and exhale, palms pressing down to the earth. One more time, inhale, sweep those arms up, and this time we're going to twist to the right, reaching that opposite hand back, looking over the right shoulder. And then inhale, lift up once again, twist opposite direction. Inhale, sweep up. This time we're going to bend at the elbows, twisting to the right, keeping that cactus shape in the arms. And inhale, lift, cactus to the left. Inhale, lift up. One more time, cactus to the right, and then little tip backwards, just a little. Inhale, up, lift. Exhale, cactus to the left, little back bend, tipping back. Inhale, reach it high. Exhale, press those palms towards the ground. Coming back to your seat. Exhale, release, open the mouth. Let something go. And we're going to move into tabletop. So coming off your block or pillow if you have one, just setting it off to the side and finding your tabletop. From here, begin to take little circles over the wrists. So whatever direction you want to start. Rotating over those wrists, making just little circles. And as we continue to move, starting to take those circles even bigger. You don't have to move quickly. Just move at the pace that feels right to you. And let's take it the other direction. Perhaps this time taking those circles from big back to small. And eventually slowing and coming to a stop here, tabletop. And from this neutral spine, we'll reach that left ear back to the left hip, creating a little C shape. Inhale back to center, opposite side, reaching to the right hip and center. Once more to the left and back and the right and center. Send those hips back over the heels, reaching those arms forward for child's pose. Allow your forehead to rest on the mat. Maybe rolling back and forth on the forehead, finding the fluidity in the neck. Keep pressing those hands into the mat, creating some pressure against the ground. And we'll begin to flow with your next inhale. Lift up, drop those hips slightly, gaze comes up. And with your exhale, hips sit back, child's pose. Release. Inhale, lift it up, little back bend. Exhale, child's. Inhale, continuing this pattern, starting to drop those hips maybe a little bit lower each time. Just taking it to your degree. Perhaps you start to come into up dog. And the next time you're headed back to child's pose, pause for a moment. Take that right arm, thread it under the left, and then sit your hips back. I'm coming into a sort of variation on thread the needle from child's. You can rest the side of your head on the mat, or if you prefer to keep it lifted. Nice deep stretch through the outside of the shoulder, through the back. Breathe. And inhale, lift it up to table. Maybe take a little drop of the hips. And coming to the other side, as you sit those hips back, left arm reaches under right, thread the needle into child's. Keep nice active engagement in that right arm. We're still feeling a stretch through the right side of the body. Feel the breath filling the back body. And inhale, lift it up. This time, shifting the hips forward as you bend your elbows, come to your belly. Arms rest by your side, resting one cheek on the mat, releasing into the ground. And when you're ready, we're going to bring those arms back to that cactus shape that we played with from a seat. So bending the elbows at a 90-degree angle. You can rest your cheek just on the mat, or you can come to your chin. We're going to focus on the torso here. So using the breath, on your next inhale, lift the torso and the arms, keeping those feet and legs planted into the mat, holding that torso in a hover. And then exhale, release it down. You can come to opposite cheek or stay on the chin. We'll do that again. On your inhale, lift it up, engaging through all those back muscles, keeping a nice strong upper body while our legs are grounded. Exhale, lower it down. Release the glutes, release the hamstrings, coming into total relaxation in between each of these poses. And again, on your inhale, let's lift it up. This time, take that head, look to the right hand, look to the left, coming back to center, drop it down with control. Again, inhale, lift. This time we'll look left, look right, center, and lower. And final lift. On your inhale, lift here, hold, and then twist, tap right elbow to the floor, lift, tap left elbow, and lift. One more time, right, lifts, and left, tap it down, lift it up. Nice exhale, lower, release, rest, breathe. And we'll shift our focus to the legs. So you can bring your hands in front of you, stacking one on top of the other, creating a little pillow for your forehead. And then taking the right leg first. On your inhale, just lift that right leg. You may feel your hip ground down into the floor. The glutes are engaging, the hamstrings are engaging. And exhale, release, lower. We'll take the left. On your inhale, lift that left leg. And it might just come a few inches off the ground. You might have a bigger lift, whatever works for you. And lower it down. We'll take right leg once more. Inhale, lift the right. And lower. Inhale, lift the left. And lower. You may know where we're going. On your next inhale, lift both together. And inhale, lift it up. See if you can keep those arms grounded, torso grounded, head dropped. As we lift and keep those legs in the air. For 3, 2, 1, and lower. Release down. Let it go. Opportunity here, if you'd like to try the full lift, to bring those arms back to the cactus shape. And when you're ready, using that inhale to lift you up, your legs and torso will lift, arms hovering over the mat. Maybe you try to tap right elbow and lift, tap left elbow and lift. Holding, holding. Exhale, release. Let it go. Finding rest here, or bringing the arms or hands under the shoulders and pressing back into a child's pose. Keep breathing. And if you're still on your belly, pressing back to a child's pose. And then shifting your weight into your hands. Flip those toes under, finding your first downward facing dog. Begin to pedal the feet. We're taking whatever movement you like from here to start to warm into the backs of the legs, stretching through the hamstrings, calves, the Achilles tendon. And it might feel nice to turn those heels in, bend the knees, taking kind of a malasana down dog, a little squat. And when you're ready, just finding stillness. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Open the mouth, let something go. Perhaps return to the idea of contentment, being where you are today, not worried about what this pose felt like yesterday or what it might feel like tomorrow, but being here and being content with what that means. We'll come up onto the toes, looking forward to the top of the mat, taking a few steps forward and meeting in your half lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Pressing the hands into the shins, reaching the crown of the head forward, looking towards the mat. You may tip a little forward onto those toes, aligning those hips over the ankle. And exhale, fold forward, bending in the knees as you need. And then inhale, arms sweep out and overhead, reaching towards the sky. Exhale, Tadasana, mountain pose. Beginning to flow with a few half salutations. Reach those arms up and overhead, palms touch, sit back into Utkatasana, chair pose, as your hands come to heart center. And then inhale, reach up, exhale, fold forward over those feet. Inhale, half lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. And inhale, reverse, reaching arms up overhead. Exhale, sitting down into chair pose, Utkatasana. And inhale up, exhale, fold. Inhale, half. Exhale, fold. And inhale, sweep those arms up. Exhale, Utkatasana. On your own breath, inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. And lift. And fold. And lift. This time, exhaling back to mountain pose. Noticing an energy pulsing through the body as we start to get the blood moving. Taking our Surya Namaskara. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale to your half lift. Exhale, hands come to the mat. Step left foot back, drop the knee. Arms sweep up. Anjaneyasana. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step right foot back, lowering chest and chin. Ashtanga Namaskar. Inhale, baby cobra or working towards your up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. And inhale, looking forward. Step that left foot up this time. Drop the right knee. Arms come up. Anjaneyasana. Exhale, hands to the mat. Lift the knee. Step it up. Half lift. And fold. And arms reaching overhead. Exhale, Tadasana. And again, inhale up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, right foot steps back this time. Keeping the right hand grounded, we'll reach left up and overhead, little twist. Exhale, hand to the mat, step left foot back, lowering chest and chin, Ashtanga Namaskara. Inhale, your back bend of choice. Exhale, downward facing dog. Looking forward, step that right foot up, drop the left knee. Plant your left hand, right arm reaches up. Exhale, hands to the mat. Lift your left knee, step it up. Ardha Uttanasana, half lift. Exhale, fold. And finishing out, sweep your arms up and over. Exhale, mountain. If your feet are touching, bring them a little further apart, closer to hips width distance. We'll inhale as we sweep our arms up, coming back to Utkatasana, chair pose. Take a quick peek down at those knees. Can you still see the toes behind under them? And then if you'd like to bring your hands to heart center for this, or keeping them extended for an added challenge, we're going to begin to shift the weight into the right leg as we slowly lift that left and reach it back, placing it gently down for high crescent lunge. So adjusting as you need to, finding the balance here. And then sweep your arms up if they're not already there. And taking a twist, we'll drop that right arm back, twisting to the right. Keep those hips facing forward. Inhale back to center. We're going to take the twist to the left as well. We don't normally see this. So twisting to the left as you reach that left arm back. If you feel like your left hip opened here, keep it facing forward. And then inhale, arms overhead once more. Open up to warrior two. So you may shift that back leg, reaching those arms out with equal energy in both directions. Find the strength in that right leg. Powerful arms. Practicing contentment as we continue our practice on the mat. Straighten your front leg, cactus the arms, reverse Trikonasana, reaching back, and then shifting your weight forward, hover in your Trikonasana, or triangle pose, keeping the arms. Inhale up, reaching it back, exhale forward, hover. Inhale, lift, and back. Exhale, forward, Once more, lift it back. And then as we come forward, drop that right hand, finding your version of Trikonasana. So you may be connecting your back of your hand to your shin or to your ankle. Some of you might be reaching towards the mat, all the while keeping the front of the torso open. Gaze up at those left fingertips. And with an inhale, lift it up. Take those feet to a 45-degree angle. Arms come back to a cactus. Find your goddess. You may even close your eyes, settling in. And we'll add some movement. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale, sitting it back down. Inhale, reach and extend. Exhale, down. Once more, inhale, lift, and lower. This time as we lift, we're gonna reach, twist to one side, arms go wide, exhale, back to goddess. Inhale, twist opposite direction, exhale, back. Each side one more time. With your breath, inhaling into the twist, exhaling back. And inhale, reach, exhale, lower. And then straighten the legs, catch your waist. Rotate those toes so they're facing forward and forward fold. A narrower Prasarita Padottanasana. We'll just be here for a moment. You can bend the knees if that feels good. Place those palms on the mat, creating a nice base. Might even rock those hips back and forth. And then lift, come into that half lift position. We're going to look towards the top of our mat, and as we walk our hands over to the right, rotate all 10 toes to face forward, coming into your pyramid pose. So if you like to take a shorter pyramid, you might step that left foot back, or you might prefer a little bit of a wider one. Now this is a good place to use a block. If you feel like you don't have the stretch in that hamstring, you can place a block under your hands. I also have a nice foam roller here that's pretty short, and this can be helpful as well. So take what you need, be respectful of where your hamstrings are today. And bend the knees, step it up. Take those feet about hips width distance. Deep bend in the knees, reaching for opposite elbows for a ragdoll. Just swaying gently back and forth. It can feel nice sometimes just to reach behind the legs. And when you're ready, throw a flat back. Come to stand back into your mountain pose. We'll take that same series to the other side. I'm going to switch so you can still see my front. So feet are maybe about hips width distance. We'll sweep those arms up, sitting the hips back, Utkatasana. Reaching. You might even rock a bit forward and back, finding the center of the foot. So some of us might sit further back in the heel or further into the toes. Find that point in the middle. And then if you brought your hands to heart center, Anjali Mudra last time, you might challenge yourself to keep them lifted as we shift into the left foot, Lifting the right and gently with control, stepping it back to high crescent lunge. So I'm up on the ball of that right foot, squared off to the front of the mat. With arms reaching up, sweep that left down and back, twisting to the left. So keep a nice strong base in the legs. And arms reach overhead. Sweep right arm down, twisting to the right, but keep those hips facing forward. Reaching towards the back of the mat. And then sweep your arm down and back around. Exhale to warrior two. Right foot walks back perhaps a little. Check in with those shoulders. If you're lifted into the ears, press them down. All right, cactus your arms. Straighten the front leg. Reverse Trikonasana. And inhale, lift. Hover forward. Trikonasana, arms stay lifted. Inhale, up and back. Exhale, forward. Two more times. Inhale with the breath. Reversing and exhale, forward. Hover. Once more, reaching back. And then find your full triangle pose. Reaching your left arm down, right arm up. If this side feels a little different than the other, opportunity to practice contentment. Where are you right now? Accepting this moment for what it is. Inhale, lift, and then rotate those feet to about a 45-degree angle, finding your goddess. All right, the movement here this time we're going to reverse. So inhale, straighten those legs as you twist one direction. The movement here, we're going to take in the opposite direction this time. So reach your arms overhead. And as you inhale and lift, twist, bending at the elbows, cactus the arm. And back to goddess, arms reaching up. And twist the other direction. And reach. Inhale, twist. Exhale, lower. We'll take each side once more, reaching with intention. Exhale, pull those elbows down and twist. Reach and twist. And finally, reach them up. This time as you straighten the legs, catch the waist. Rotate toes forward and fold towards the mat, bringing your hands down. Rocking back and forth. Bending in one knee and then the other. Feeling the stretch through the inner leg. And then inhale to a flat back. We'll look towards the left toes, and as we walk back to the front of the mat, rotate those toes forward for pyramid pose. So again, you might step that right foot in. You may come to a block to alleviate some of that tension you're feeling through the hamstring. And then looking forward, stepping up, taking a nice wide stance on the mat. Drop those hips down for Balasana. So you might be up here, you might start to lower them. And if you're having trouble here with the hips or feeling some compression, you can bring your legs a lot closer together, so you don't need to be super wide. So we'll be here for just a moment. You might rock back and forth. I like to bring my palms together, elbows pressing against the knees. And then place your hands in front of you, lifting those hips high once more. Coming to this forward fold, swaying. Reverse my position. And step your right foot back, left foot back to meet it. Option to take your flow, dropping the knees, lowering chest and chin. And alternatively, can step right to down dog. And from downward facing dog, setting up for a half pigeon. We'll lift that right leg first towards the sky. And then exhale as we shift over those hands, placing the knee and shin on the mat and lowering down. Now, if this is a very tight pose for you and you feel you need some support, you can take a block, place it under that right glute. Pillow works well, or a blanket, help elevate those hips. So you know what modifications you need to make. And then starting to walk into however restful of a pose you can find from here. Returning to the breath. If you find your mind wandering, starting to calm that chatter by counting your inhale and exhale. Taking a few more breaths. If you'd like, you can walk those hands in, reaching the head back, taking a little back bend. We're going to keep a nice long spine as we arch back. And then when you're ready, the best way to exit here is back to down dog. So flip your left toes under and lift up, reaching that right leg. And then exhale, lower. Maybe pedal out the feet, rock those hips back and forth. And setting up for the other side, we'll inhale, that left leg reaches. And exhale, hug that knee in, placing the shin down. And working into this side. You might have to take a different degree here, depending on how your body feels. And when you're ready, settling in as best you can. Option to close the eyes. Withdrawing the senses can help alleviate that mind chatter. Always coming back to the breath. If you took a back bend on the other side, I invite you to do so here as well. Walking your hands up, reaching with a nice long spine, and gently gazing up towards the sky. And then we'll all meet in a seat. So rolling over that left hip and swinging the right leg around. Placing both soles of the feet on the mat. We'll gently lower to the back. It might feel nice to drop the knees from one side to the other. Windshield wiper action. Nice massage for the upper glutes, the low back, the sacrum. And then walking your feet in a little closer. Pressing the hands into the mat. With an inhale, we'll lift the hips for your bridge. I invite you to tune in to the hamstrings and the glutes. We strengthen them from our bellies. Notice the engagement here. Pressing those hips high. And exhale gently with control, lower back to the mat. And again, when you're ready, with your inhale, lifting. Pressing. Exhale, lower. And once more, inhale, lift. Keep those hands grounded into the mat. And gently lower it down. Hug your knees towards the body, reaching around, rocking gently from side to side. And keeping those legs in, we'll allow the arms to fall to the side. You can come back to that cactus shape or just extend them to a T if you've got the space. Exhale, take both legs over to the left for a twist. Your gaze can fall over to the right. Feeling any changes in the breath that occur from this twist. Use exhales to Allow your spine to further wring anything out that needs to be wrung out. And inhaling back to center. Maybe shifting on your mat and find a twist to the other side. Releasing the tongue from the top of the mouth. Allowing your thoughts just to come and go. Watching as they do. Breathing through it. And inhale, engaging the core. Pull those legs back to center. Taking a couple final circles of the legs and the knees. And then setting up for your final posture of your choice, dropping soles of the feet to the mat, extending them long, or perhaps placing a pillow beneath, and settling for a few minutes of Shavasana. On your next breath, inhaling the feeling of contentment, filling every part of your body with total bliss. And exhale, releasing the expectation that happiness will be met when our goals and our dreams are achieved. Finding gentle movements in the physical body, awakening the fingers and toes, rocking the legs back and forth. And in your own way, in your own time, making your way up to a seat. Eyes can remain closed. And placing one hand over the other on the chest. And inhaling for a final Om. Honoring yourself and your practice. Honoring the highest teacher that is you and the practice of contentment that you've committed. And placing a hand on the earth in front of you. Honoring this land, the bounty that it provides. Recognizing the original stewards of this land, this unceded territory that we occupy. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Peace.